Just let me see the agenda.
Okay, so you can go ahead.
Okay, welcome everyone. This is the Black Creek Oyster Bay Services Committee, a committee of the Comox Valley Regional District. And I call to order this meeting Monday, April 12th, 2021. We are participating today by Zoom due to the COVID protocols that have been directed by our health officer and in keeping with all the proper protocols and conventions. I will call this meeting to order. First item of business will be to recognize the fact that we're doing our business today on the official unceded territory of the Comox First Nation. We have no delegations. What we do to start off is we have a management report here for receipt.
Move receipt of management report.
Well, thank you, Director Lee. Nice to see your face.
You can see
okay.
so good.
I'll second that. Any discussion on that? Seeing none, I'll call the question. Anybody?
Before you go, I have one question.
Okay.
The report says that staff are working on a virtual open house. That wasn't really, I don't think, our intentions when the motion was made at the meeting. We were hoping that we could convene open public sessions as soon as we possibly can, considering what COVID's happening. So I'm just wondering if there's, I know I'm getting my vaccine on Thursday, and you know, a lot of people will have been vaccinated in the near future. Can we not work on open public meetings yet?
Mr. Chair, it's Russell here to answer the question. Thank you very much for that. We would love to hold this as a public open house, but at this time there's no potential for that on the horizon. We'll continue to organize this on the basis of virtual, but if things do change and things do open up, for sure we would like to do that in an open method, but there's just no hope on the horizon at this time to plan on.
Okay, thank you, Russell.
Yeah, we keep getting optimistic, and then our hopes are dashed. We talk about recovery, and we're not even out of the pandemic yet. So who knows what the fourth and fifth waves are going to bring? So I think that erring on the side of caution is definitely the best way to proceed. Okay, so no further discussion on that. Anyone opposed to receipt? Seeing none, let's move on to reports. Number one is the budget amendment for the Schultz Road water main extension for receipt.
Move receipt.
And I second that. And over to staff, please.
Thank you very much, directors, for getting together today for this one item. It's a relatively important one. Chris LaRose is on the line to present the report, and staff are here to answer any of your questions.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Through the chair. Thanks. Yeah, thanks for your time this morning. Just a fairly brief one, but as Russell mentioned, quite an important one. So this project has been in the financial plan for several years and has morphed over those years. So the driver is the increased fire flow to the Miracle Beach Elementary School, but other benefits include better looping to improve the water quality in the area. So it was originally scheduled as an upgrade to the existing water main, which heads out to the school. But now the project includes cutting across Miracle Beach Elementary property and then a subsequent property to connect to, and includes a new main up Schultz Road to the Island Highway. So this would remove the dead end at the school. So instead of upgrading the size out to that, that school, we would then connect up to the Island Highway to provide flow from both directions. So that would satisfy the fire flows, and then removing the dead end greatly improves the water quality in the area. So negotiations are underway with developers for cost sharing on the project. And it's actually developments that are now proceeding, which have allowed this new concept to take shape. So actual construction costs were required to progress these negotiations. So we issued a tender which closed on March 18th. And 10 bids were received, which we see as a highly competitive process, which is excellent. So that resulted in very competitive pricing. So while actual Black Creek Oyster Bay costs are expected to be well under the $479,000 currently in the budget, because of the negotiations and the contributions, the expected contributions from developers, the financial plan needs to reflect the total cost because all costs flow through the service. And that's hence the amendment to the $580,000 that is included as a recommendation to the staff report. And so finally, last thing I'll mention is that the amendment is needed now to allow for us to finalize the negotiations and award the construction contract before the period of irrevocability ends in mid-May. So that, just as a refresher, that every tender is issued with a period of irrevocability within which the contractors are bound to maintain their pricing. So in this case, it was 60 days, which would bring us to May 16th. So hence bringing us forward now would allow us to have the amendment in place and allow for award and to take advantage of this excellent pricing before that period ends in mid-May. So yeah, happy to answer any questions about this project and the recommended amendment.
Okay, I have a question. Where is Oyster
Director
River?
Lee.
Where is Oyster River Way? What is that one about?
Oyster River Way is a currently unconnected road that in the future will connect across Schultz and likely through into the Saratoga Beach Estates development area.
It's not in Area D?
No,
Okay,
not that I'm aware of. At least the piece that we're talking about is firmly within Area C.
so it's connecting from Schultz Road.
So right now, it does not contact Schultz, but part of the development underway and negotiations with Moti, who is the subdivision approving authority, is that there will be a connection through to Schultz at some point in the near future, and then
Just to connect to what? To the Pacific Playgrounds or?
No, not Pacific Playgrounds, but so right now it is on either side of Schultz, but does not currently connect from the south side of Schultz. But there is anticipated to be a connection made through to Schultz, and then in the future, my understanding is that it is expected to extend north into the Saratoga Beach Estates development.
And the cost of the northern extension is not included in this $580,000 budget amendment?
So this just to be clear, this amendment or this contract is just for installation of a water main, and other than crossing Oyster River Way has nothing to do with the extension of that roadway. Yeah.
Okay, did we have any maps or anything showing this?
We don't have a map attached to this report, no.
Okay.
The exact format is still under negotiation, but just at a high level, the alignment is expected to cut across the Miracle Beach Elementary School field, across the property to the north of the elementary, onto Schultz, and then all the way up Schultz to the highway. That's the approximate alignment, but there is, in addition to the cost sharing being negotiated with the developers, there's also several easements and right-of-ways that are required that are in the works.
Okay, so thank you.
That sounds like a good idea to me, especially if we can loop it down around the school, because as you say, you run into trouble when there isn't a lot of movement and a dead end on the line. So this would keep the water and the chlorination, my understanding is at a higher level. Is that correct?
Absolutely, yeah. So the previous plan would have seen, in order to guarantee the fire flows, would have seen an even larger pipe up Polson to the school, which would, in a way, exacerbate the dead end issue, because then you've got even more water in the pipe.
Yeah.
So this concept sees that pipes remain the same size, but then connect all the way through to the Island Highway. So there is no dead end. The pipe is not larger; it's the same size. Yeah.
Yeah, we'd hate to see an event like a fire in a school of that size. That would be very devastating for the community.
Yeah. Hence the priority that we place on this project. So we're quite keen to finally execute it this year.
And I would certainly concur that we should expedite the contract, because anybody out there right now who's trying to build anything, I think there's about a 30-40% increase in the price of building materials. I think 2x4 studs are going for $10 or something right now. It's just absolutely ridiculous. So obviously there's the expedite this thing and move forward quickly is definitely to our advantage. Well, thank you very much, Chris, for that. We're on receipt. Do we have any more comments on receipt?
I was just wondering if this budget amendment, so it's being covered by reserves and by developer contributions. So it's not going to impact the taxpayers in Black Creek Oyster Bay?
No, that's correct. Yeah, not beyond what was already in the plan, and we do expect it to come in significantly lower because of this partnership that's being worked on with the developer.
Okay, right. So I'll move the recommendation.
Okay, we already have it moved, don't we?
No,
We
I'm
didn't move
I
it.
didn't
What the
move
heck?
it.
Here, we're doing the SRD style. Okay,
We're still on
second.
receipt.
We're still
Oh,
on
after
receipt.
vote on
Yeah,
receipt.
thank you.
Sorry.
Okay, so any opposed to receipt? And over Director Lee.
Move the recommendation.
I'll second that. Any further discussion on the recommendation? Seeing none, I'll take the vote on that. Anybody opposed? Then that carries. There's no new business, no addendum, no media questions. No
I have one item of new business.
Okay.
Okay, so coming up on Wednesday at the SRD board, we've got a recommendation to approve 30,000 going to Black Creek Oyster Bay from SRD. The 30,000 contribution from SRD that we talked about months ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pretty sure it'll be fine. It's coming up on Wednesday.
Well, good luck on that, Director.
Mm-hmm.
Money, every little bit helps.
Okay.
As we move ahead through these very trying times. Okay, so that's good news. Do we need to vote on receipt of that information? Probably not.
No, not yet. I just wanted to let you know that it's actually on paper now and going through the board.
Well, there you go. Well, we look to your stewardship to steer it through to its appropriate conclusion.
Okay, and so on addendum, do we need any updates on the third well project, or is it all complete?
Mr. Chair, I'll just ask Chris LaRose to give an update on the third well.
Sure. Yeah. Thanks for the reminder. Some very good news here. The project is completed on target. So March 31st was the extended, multiple extensions, which led us to March 31st of this year, and we were able to complete the project, with at least a day or two to spare. So the project is now fully commissioned. yeah, it came in significantly under budget. So we're currently in kind of some coordination with the grant program staff to look for some additional related scope that we could use to maximize our use of the grant funding that was awarded for the project. So definitely a really good place to be in, especially with the summer season, irrigation season fast approaching. So we are, over the coming weeks, we'll be testing the new infrastructure to confirm what kind of capacity we can expect to get out of it. But the true test will come, of course, this summer season as the groundwater levels drop, and we see how much additional summertime capacity that well provides. But we had a lot of excellent work, certainly by our staff, and in close coordination with SRD staff. We were very happy and grateful for the excellent support provided by SRD staff over the last few months as we put the big push on to complete the project. It was a really great level of collaboration there. So yeah, nothing but good news.
Good, thank you. Thanks for all your hard work on that.
Yeah, I'm sure I speak for all the residents in congratulating staff for the tenacity on this endeavor, and the fact that it took quite a lot longer than expected and a few extensions on the grant application. So a lot of stick handling and a lot of perseverance. So my deepest gratitude to our staff for persevering, and as I say, and bringing us about. Okay, very good. So I guess this gives you an opportunity, Director Lee, to go out and cut your lawn and trim the hedge.
I already did. I'm gonna lay in the sun today. Get suntan. Read a book.
Take a spa day.
Do we have any more work to do on that that development cost charge, capital improvement charge bylaw that you were working on to ascertain what we should be charging for campsites versus mobile home parks?
If I may,
Mr. Chair, I can just ask Chris for an update.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah. So I believe our direction is that consultation, the virtual open house that was discussed earlier in the meeting, that's kind of one of the priorities for that virtual open house will be to just let the community know that these changes are in the works, and see if there's any relevant feedback there that we can bring back to you. But we'll also be bringing back for that kind of final decision in May, post that virtual open house. So a summary of the open house, but also just some of the more details that were behind calculation of the rates that are proposed. So that's what we've committed to, but undertaking the consultation and then bringing that back in combination with more detail about the rigor, to support the rigor of the analysis that went into developing the proposed rate. So you can expect to see that at the May 10th meeting, next meeting.
Okay.
oh my God, May already?
Yes.
Well, I will tell Director Lee that we had a very similar virtual open house around the mosquito bylaw, because we're working on a mosquito control service that that is very specific to a few neighborhoods, but they're inundated with a certain mosquito that's very voracious and hardy, and eggs can live up to 10, 20 years in the ground and so forth. So it did allay a lot of the fears of the residents. We had a really good virtual turnout, and I can tell you that my email's been absolutely quiet ever since. So it certainly is worthwhile going to the public, even if it's only in the virtual realm. So I wouldn't think that this would be much different.
That's good. We don't have the same luck with virtual in in Strathcona. We've had public hearings, several where nobody showed up at all.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I don't know if it has to do with connectivity in some of our communities, because the low attendance is usually in areas that have poor reception, and so it could be that, but it's, it hasn't really inspired me to go virtual on public meetings, just because we never get anybody up north here, hardly anyone showing up for a virtual meeting.
Well, that's amazing. I would suggest maybe it's due to the confidence that your residents have in the 28 years of service that you've given them, that they.
Yeah, right. I don't know. I think no, these were in other areas. They weren't in my area. They were Sayward, Quadra. But
Oh,
every time we went Sayward and Quadra for public hearings, they were just, there was just nobody. The applicant might show up, and that's about it. And even that was by telephone. They couldn't get on the internet. So I think it's connectivity problems and people not having the equipment and whatnot to be able to participate. So that's another problem. Like, I wonder if there are people in the Black Creek Oyster Bay area who don't own computers and don't use them, that might appreciate some, even if it's a social distancing outdoor gathering, some kind of opportunity to, get to discuss their views on this subject. Like, if we could have a hybrid of some kind where, say, you went to Oyster River Fire Hall and you met outside on the sidewalk or veranda area with socially distanced people that want to participate, something like that, and then have your virtual as well.
yeah, we'll just have to see how this unfolds. Although I do recall reading an article that said that the fastest growing people using FaceTime and Zoom and WebEx and all that happen to be the seniors population, because they want to keep in touch with their kids and their grandkids. So it is driving the use of the virtual realm.
Yeah, well, anyway, that was just throw that out there, that possibly there's people that aren't very techy, that don't go online very often or don't have the equipment. But anyway, we'll do our best. That's all we can do.
Sounds good to me. Okay, well, that clears a lot of stuff up. I guess it's a short and sweet meeting, and we are at termination.
I'll move termination.
Second. All in favor, or any opposed?
Nobody opposed.
Nobody opposed. Well, thank you very much, staff, and thank you very much, Director. And we'll see you somewhere in the future, and hopefully it'll be happier days again.